him by expressing my profound appreciation to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces Federal Republic of Nigeria, who, by his pen and ink and authority, gave me the opportunity to carry out this assignment as Chief Medical Director of the Federal Teaching Institute of University. As it has always been said, without opportunity, there is no ability. There is no way you can express or display your ability if you have not been given the opportunity to do so. And you will agree with me that after God, the most singular individual, important individual that I need to really express my deep appreciation to will be that person who gave me this opportunity. And that's the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm eternally grateful. To the Honorable Minister of Health and the leadership of the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, who facilitated the approval by the President of the country, I thank you. I've had the opportunity of working with a board led by Honorable Suka Baba, now expired. That's the board. I want to thank that board for the cordial work in relationship that we had. Of course, we have the board chairman now, Honorable Tolu Bankole. I express my gratitude to him. The entire management and staff of this great hospital. I've got two players. One group of players are my staff, and the other players are the patients. Without the patients, the staff will not be here. Without the staff, the patients will not come in. Now, a large part of the staff of the workforce is on strike as a result of a national issue, not local. And so the staff, many of the staff members are not around. That in itself reinforces the fact that without the staff, the patients will not also be able to come in. So for your hard work and cooperation and support, I say thank you. Of course, this second category of my players, that's the patients and their relatives. I have to thank them for the confidence they have in us. When an organization loses its corporate integrity, especially in the healthcare setting like ours, what happens? The patient also run away. Because of the work that we have done together, we rebuild trust, we brought back the patients. And so for the patients to have confidence in us, we must thank them. And those communities led by the Olujubo of Integrity over I want to say a big thank you. And all other stakeholders who stood by us throughout this case, demanding, but fulfilling years. We thank you. Your support sustained this administration through seasons of challenges and triumph alike. I'm sure you will agree with me. We have our challenges, many, and we also have our triumph. There are so many. When I assumed office in 2018, even before I assumed office in 2017, I put up an application, consequent to public advertisement for vacancy. And in my application to the Federal Ministry of Health, to be appointed as the CMD of the Federal Teachers Institute, I outlined my vision, my mission. And I recalled from my application to the ministry that what I put there was to build a health institution dedicated to affordable, accessible, quality, and comprehensive healthcare delivery in a respectful and peaceful environment. It appeared very difficult to achieve, but if you get to the office of the Chief Medical Director and the office of the Principal Officers, office of the Principal Officers of this hospital, you will find a banner for that purpose. To remind us, because if you have a vision that you have not written down, you can forget. We had that vision, we wrote that vision, and everybody, and you are guided by what you are written down. So, let me repeat again, that the vision was to build a health institution dedicated to affordable, accessible, quality, and comprehensive health care delivery in a respectful and peaceful environment. To realize this vision, as part of that solution, I committed myself to pursuing a mission anchored on the following pillars: developing a high-quality medical system capable of attracting medical tourists from the state and beyond, driving organizational change through strategic engagement with unions and key stakeholders, creating an enabling environment for prompt, reliable, and uninterrupted medical services supported by modern infrastructure, establishing strong community judicial resolution for peaceful post-institution coexistence, strengthening and expanding accredited training programs to produce global competitive medical professionals. Others were promoting research through internal funding and craftsmanship, introducing new training programs to boost internally generated revenue and skills acquisition, exploring public-private partnership and build public transfer models in power, oxygen production, imaging laboratories, and patient amenities, and deploying strict resource optimization guided by strong managerial values. And I must tell you that this vision statements have been our guiding principle in all that we have done in the last 8 years. The state of the hospital are taken off. At the point of my assumption of office, the hospital, that's the Federal Teaching Hospital, was emerging from severe, and I say severe, a very strong responsibility. Cautionary word, severe institutional crisis. And this was documented in the 2016 Administrative Panel of Inquiry Report, a report that was handed over to me as part of my letter of appointment in January 2018 at the leadership of the Federal Ministry of Health. And the report can be summarized in the following words and phrases. The severe institutional crisis, that's the turbulence, was driven by deep staff disaffection, welfare disputes, financial distress, and in the words of so many of you, and as summarized by the panel, entrenched cabal influences and intense leadership rivalries. There were also in the report observations of LP indebtedness, allegations of procurement irregularities, and overemployment that had pushed the institution not just to the brink of instability, but to serious instability. At that time, strikes were more or less the order of the day. The situation was fragile, but then we chose reform over retreat. We chose stability over strife, and institutional debates over blame. I knew the challenges when I applied. I lived in the Ekiti State. I read newspapers. I have friends, so I knew what I was coming to. So it was not a time to retreat, it was a time to reform. It was not a time to inflame strife, it was a time to lay foundation for stability. It was not a time to exchange blames. It was then a time to establish or to get to cause institutional rebirth and regain the corporate integrity of the Federal Teaching Hospital. So in the last 8 years, what have we been able to achieve? In summary, in terms of staff welfare and management, we were able to ensure regular promotion of staff. As of today, we have no promotion in arrears, and we have no payment on promotion in arrears. So I can say that the management under my leadership is not owing any member of staff when it comes to promotion issue, either in terms of the process or in terms of the financial implication. We upgraded or converted about 300 staff. That in itself is unprecedented. If you realize that upgrading and conversion is tantamount to internal recruitment of staff, and it's a big welfare package to give staff a new sense of responsibility and that to make them take ownership. This 300 is aside the close to another 300 health attendants that were trained and converted. I'm still going to say a little about that as I make progress. Regular recruitment. Yes, we talk about Japa syndrome, brain drain, a lot of people have left. But I must say, at this junction, if you go through the report of the 2016 Administrative Panel of Inquiry report from the hospital, in that report we will see that the hospital had about 3,000 workforce. 8 or more than 8 years down the line, I can tell you that with brain drain, massive brain drain, the hospital still has, as of today, now in excess of 3,000 workforce. That, if you do the arithmetic, is because as people were going, a lot of other people were also coming in. So, what do we do say about that? We have maintained workforce stability to a very large extent, despite the massive or the devil of brain drain, the evil, as it were, of brain drain, or the brain drain that has bedeviled the health system. We have recruited about 1,400 personal staff, and we are still recruiting. As I speak with you, I have a list of about 455 new recruits pending on the table of the Honorable Minister of Health for waiting for approval. We will add that also before the end of the year, by the grace of God. Now, we have also recruited uncountable numbers of non-pensionable staff, interns. For instance, interns across different departments in medicine, radiography, pharmacy, physiotherapy, nursing, medical laboratory science, and so on and so forth. Of course, local officers, contract officers, they have not been added to this number. Prompt payment of salaries and allowances, to the extent that payment of salaries have been taken for granted by members of staff. So that such that if the month ends and by the second of the following month the salary has not been paid, we see a lot of agitation. That only happens in an environment where payment of salary are taken for granted. The payment of salary has been an issue. Even second week in the month, people will see the expectant and because it will appear as if they are used to it. We are not used to paying salary, delay the payment of salary at federal teachers. So that's one of the reasons why staff tend to agitate on the first or second day of the month if the salary is not paid. So allowances also have been paid regularly. Let me say that when we talk about allowances, we mean allowances as all of them, both clinical, non-clinical allowances as form of as a way to encourage our staff to work harder. At the time I came on board, rural posting allowance had been stopped, and for several reasons, and it was part of the agitation of members of staff at that time. I'm happy to report to you that we got the rural posting allowance restored, making the Federal Teaching Hospital to one of the less than 10 federal health institutions in Nigeria where members of staff benefit from the payment of rural posting allowance. As of today, we did not just get approval for it, we got the payment restored and we have paid the arrears from the point of approval to date. And I want to thank the management staff, members of my inner caucus team who committed themselves alongside with me to ensuring that we get this allowance restored. And also commend our members of staff for their patience over the years while their allowance was stopped, or the payment of the allowance was stopped. We got ourselves engaged in annual staff health awareness programs because we do not want our staff to die. A lot of the things that are responsible for death are preventable, avoidable. So we made it as part of our policy to ensure that every member of staff is aware of his or her health numbers. You know, the blood pressure, your BMI, cholesterol, glucose, and so on and so forth. Because what you know, you can take responsibility to do or to care for. If you do not know, then there is a problem. And this program has been integrated in the staff clinic such that we do not just allow staff members to know, but to also be able to pursue treatment. So it's been wonderful. Annual health awareness programs, of course, we've maintained open door policy across all cadres. I must let you know that in the 8 years of my tenure as the CMD of this hospital, I did not station police, army, or any security agent at the entrance of the CMD office or at the entrance of the gate of the hospital. Not for us. So that if you come to my office, you won't find any policeman that will stop you. You won't find any military man. You will not find any DSS man that will stop you. You know, it was done in an attempt to ensure that there is no form of restriction. And that we maintain for 8 years. We developed human capacity by the grace of God. We institutionalized in-house training. We expanded external capacity building, and we supported academic advancements. When I came on board, a lot of the people you see here either did not have first degree or had not more than 4th degree, first degree. I can tell you now that seated in this room are so many people with PhD certificate. You know, that's one of the things that we achieved. Today, nearly all nurses in this hospital possess at least a university degree. 8 years ago, majority of the over 300 nurses that we had in this hospital did not have university degree. Today, it is now more or less an exception to be a nurse in this hospital without a university degree. Many of them have made progress. They've had master's degree and also PhD. So also in other non-clinical areas. Someone not far from me, not next to me, but not far from me, at the time I came, had only CMD. Today, she is a proud holder of a PhD certificate. Just a little. And just an example of so many of such within this system. We created that environment for people to develop capacity through academic advancements. Many wrote postgraduate qualifications now, thank God. And I've said that similar progress was achieved across other fields. I said something yesterday at the valedictory CMD, and I said, majority, and I still repeat it, majority of people in this room today were maximum chief grade level 14 officer. Grade level 14 officer at the time I came into this hospital 8 years ago. And by the grace of God, the people you see with me in this room today are directors. Majority of them are directors. That is also something that may appear innocuous, but it says the kind of capacity that we have built as an institution. You know, and I want to thank you for, that's the members of staff, for seizing the opportunity to make progress academically. Over 300 health attendants were sponsored for professional upgrading, with 50% tuition support resulting in career progression. At that time, we had a lot of our members of staff who were health attendants who had become stagnated, they could not make progress. And we came up with this idea of interacting, of collaborating with the College of Health Science and Technology, JRFT, by bringing the school to Ido to teach them here for 2 years, 2 academic sessions, until they were certified to have the appropriate health assistant medical certificate. And we did not just bring the school here for them, we also paid 50% of the tuition of this about 300 staff. Today, they are no longer stagnated. They are now making career progress. Let me tell you that by the grace of God, the capacity that has been built in staff had also been recognized by several external bodies. I'm happy to inform you that today, the Honorable Commissioner for Health in Oyo State is a proud member of staff of this institution. I'm happy to report to you that the chairman of the Ekiti State Hospitals Management Board, the board responsible for the management of all the secondary health facilities in Ekiti State, is a proud member of staff. of this hospital. I can also report to you that on the board of the CMD of FETHI State and the State University Teaching Hospital, are also members of staff of this hospital. I can tell you that the top management committee of the Federal Medical Center in Connecticut today is populated by proud members of staff of this great institution. I'm just trying to let you know the import of the capacity that God has helped us to build within this system. Majority, let me say that there are three tertiary institutions in the state, and I can tell you that the functionality of the other tertiary institutions in the state as of today, without missing words, and I don't want to sound too bragging, is that the functionality to some extent depends on the workforce in this hospital. This hospital is staff of this hospital that have been recruited by these institutions either as contract or local to run or to offer clinical services for them. So I can tell you therefore that several members of staff of this hospital are now leaders in other tertiary health institutions in this state. Infrastructure development. We executed large-scale renovation and expansion of clinical and administrative facilities. We transformed many previously dilapidated structures into functional, patient-friendly environments. We renovated and upgraded the following structures: male medical ward, female medical ward, male surgical ward, children ward, maternity building complex, neonatal ICU, specialist outpatient clinic, the primary and secondary schools, the annexes in Igogo and Ikiti, the old laboratory building, community medicine building, the boardroom of the hospital. This is not the boardroom. This is, so you see our room like this, you can imagine what the boardroom will look like. This is just a meeting room. We also renovated the hospital unit conference. We created patient pavilions, which were previously not in existence in this hospital. We made them to be, so that we can give patient relatives a sense of belonging. We also created new infrastructure for the chemical pathology department. We expanded the mental health building. We restructured and expanded the Dr. Tunde Alade operating theater. We acquired and reconstructed old and Raphael Hospital in Adoekiti to now house a 45-bedded NHI's dedicated annex in Adoekiti. We constructed afresh a new multi-purpose building for adult and children emergency care. That is where we are currently. This building is that building I've just called out, mentioned. This building houses adult and emergency, adult and children emergency care, plastic and bond, private halls and standard seminar rooms. This is the standard seminar room that you have. I didn't know that we were going to have this conference, this interaction here. Is that maybe I should have decorated it in walls more than what I've just called it. It's still fine. Thank you. We constructed a new central store. We also constructed a new restaurant for the hospital community. We constructed a new molecular laboratory, an hematology and blood transfusion laboratory. We constructed new health information management and ICT building. Constructed new 20-bedded infectious disease ward. We constructed new 12-bedded intensive care units. Constructed new physiotherapy building. Constructed additional buildings for house officers. Constructed new morbid anatomy and mortuary building equipped with MOPS, rehabilitated MOPS. Constructed new assisted reproductive technology building. Constructed 70-56 capacity conference hall for ceremonial and academic activities. We secured the perimeter fencing of the hospital. We partly improved road network. And if you look to your right, you will see a new 150-bedded ward building that is ongoing and is currently at the roofing stage. We also encouraged unions and associations to have labor buildings. And currently, we have a fully built ARD house, my own house. Now, they still need to work more on their building, and the SSA building is nearing completion. Let me say that strategic procurement of modern medical equipment across departments to significantly improve diagnosis and laboratory capacity was also embarked on. These buildings, these infrastructures upgrade that I've read out to you were not empty buildings. Of course, you can see that this AIE is not an empty building. Is that not correct? It's not an empty building. It's also the several other buildings I've talked about. Not empty buildings. Some of you have walked around to see for yourself the facilities in these buildings. So, I do not want to listen. I just want to tell you that those buildings were appropriately equipped for service delivery. That's what I always to say that this kind of social setup were equipped. Administrative reforms. We restructure the Directorate of Admin. And I want to believe that a new book can be written about the new Directorate of Admin. We also restructured the accounts and finance department. We created functional units for the hospital. And we can tell you that in the Directorate of Admin now, there is now reduced decision-making turnaround time because of these reforms. So also in accounts and all that areas where we have had reforms, we've had improved communications channels and systems. We have established management structures for bottom-up brainstorming. We established management labor unions and consultative forum. And so I can tell you, on account of that, in the 8 years of the management under my leadership, we did not record a single local strike. I want to thank the labor unions and associations for their understanding and cooperation to achieve this feat. And pray that they will continue to show understanding to the incoming administration so that there will never again in this hospital be a local strike. We develop SOPs for departments, units, and activities. We did not just develop the SOP, we also produced the SOP into book, that people can keep, they can archive, they can read. And we have continued to improve on these SOPs for departments, for units, for activities, and so on and so forth. In terms of clinical team, we let me say, I don't want to be too rude, but I know that the consultant strength in this hospital against the trend of things in the country, we increase the number of the consultants by about 30%. That's a lot. In other places, they will not be talking about increase in number. They will be talking about increase in number. Today, we have about 100 consultants in different fields in this hospital. We expanded laboratory, radiology, surgical, medical and patient, and pediatric services. We expanded the ICU from 4 to 12 beds. We upgraded significantly the neonatal ICU for service. In the course of this 8 year, I will tell you with pride again that we had a 22 quicker. Is that okay? That was brought from somewhere from Kogi State to this hospital that we managed in the neonatal ICU. And when I did at 22, a child that was born at 22 weeks. That was essentially like an abortus. Is that okay? Brought in the nylon, in a cellophane bag into this hospital. And I can tell you that we managed. And like I've said before, that fit is a testament to the quality of support system that the hospital has developed in terms of electricity, in terms of water, in terms of laboratory services, radiological services, and so on and so forth. Because you cannot just manage a 22-weeker without doing support services. So if I say we manage a 22-weeker, I'm telling you what I'm saying is that not the pride is not in the outcome of that service that we deliver. The outcome, the pride is in the quality of the support service that we have provided within this hospital that could support such care. And that is the pride. It's a lady, and I want to show that the day that lady is going to get married, that this hospital will be represented at the wedding ceremony. Because this. We expanded postgraduate training. We also expanded the clinical research systems. For the first time in this hospital, we established a clinical research management office that have been able to attract grants for research work. And it is not just research work, they are translational research that will improve policy development within the system. The grants that they have been attracting also partly to improve quality of equipment within the system, and it also improve process. For those who understand process management when it comes to craftsmanship, you will see that those things will continue to rock up on the quality of care that we deliver in the hospital. We increased our annexes from 2 to 4 because the local annex had become more than the time I came. We resuscitated the local annex. We added Ilawe annex, and we relocated the Agro annex from a 4-bedroom two-bedroom flat to a complex that now has 45-bed facilities. And I tell you that Federal Teachers Hospital is in every senatorial district of Ekiti State today. We are in the south, we are in the central, we are in the north. The hospital is in the north, we have another annex in the north. We have one big annex in the central, and we have two annexes in the south. Let me say that one of the annexes in the south, that's the annex, is actually a 50-bedded annex, bigger than many of the general hospitals that you probably find in the State. That's annex. And we have continued with our medical outreaches to the communities. Procurement and financial reforms. At the time I came on board, there was no procurement department. And if there's no procurement department, you can hazardly guess as to what procurement processes were at that time. That compressing the fact that procurement issue was one of the things that created crisis in the hospital, going by the report of the administrative panel set up by the ministry. We quickly embarked on reform in procurement, created a procurement department, and not just created procurement department, established processes alongside or in compliance with 2007 the Public Procurement Act, and further, but how many now? 10 members of staff certified by the Bureau of Public Procurement as procurement officers. As of today, this hospital has 10 certified procurement officers, and we currently have another one in training. Maybe by January, the number will increase to 11. That's a lot of capacity. No wonder when we carry out procurement processes in this hospital, it's almost impossible. Let me say it's almost always very difficult, if not impossible, to find sufficient ground to raise petition or to raise valid petition against us. It's part of the reform. We revived drug and laboratory recovery funds, and I don't take too much of your time. I don't want to waste time on that. That is on itself again another story. Just like I said, that we can write a book on the Directorate of Admin, we can also write a book on the transformation that occurred in our drug revolving funds, in our laboratory revolving funds. To the extent that we are not just building people, we are also building processes. System that can survive is okay. Even if someone, is absent, it is to make the system more critical. The system development more critical than just the people's development. Yes, it is important for us to build people to manage the system, but it is also very important for us to ensure that the system itself, is self-sustaining, and that we have done in a way, through process development and process management. We have strengthened internal controls for the hospital. I can tell you that every 3 months we send our internal audit report to the Auditor General of the Federation, and every year we also send annual reports to the Auditor General of the Federation. We do not have any external audit assignment of what it is now. That in areas. In other words, this hospital has been audited. The external auditor has performed his audit assignment up to date. So we do not have external audits that is pending. So essentially, we have established not just internal control, we have also submitted ourselves to external scrutiny. From time to time, people come from Abuja, we have submitted ourselves. And I can tell you, on account of the strengthening of internal controls and submission of ourselves to external scrutiny, over the last 3-4 years, the ICPC had rated the hospital in terms of ethics and compliance rating as one of the best 3 in this country. The records are there. You can check the ICPC website, and if you want us to give you the records, we also give to you. As in a particular year, we were rated the best among the tertiary institutions in Nigeria. As at the last one, we didn't do badly. We were rated the 3rd best, even though with improved scores. So, and I want to again use this video to thank all of you, the staff, for supporting us to achieve or accomplish this. I must say that through reforms and transparency, accountability, and all of that, we have been able to improve over the last 8 years our NGR by over 1,000%. And I say over 1,000%. Partnerships and external relations. Over the years, more than over the last 8 years, not even over the years, over the last 8 years, in other words, in the course of this administration, in the course of this tenure in 8 years, we have partnered with African University at Harvard to train over 800 doctors. And many other health workers, nurses, medical laboratory scientists, and so on and so forth. The training that this hospital offers have been extended to over 20 other institutions nationwide, universities, College of Health Science and Technology, 20 other institutions nationwide, universities, colleges of health technology, etc. In 2023, the President of the country approved FETHI as the teaching hospital for the Federal University in Oyekiti. And today, I also report to you with pride that students, nursing students, radiography students, and medical laboratory science students of Federal University Oye are already with us and having their training. We expect that by next year, the medical students of FOYE will also arrive for training. What this also tells you is the level of capacity, for human resource capacity, materials, that this hospital possesses to help produce qualified workforce for the health system in Nigeria. And we are proud to be active on the field. During the COVID-19 pandemic, I must tell you again that this hospital never shut down for a single day. And you understand what I mean by saying that this hospital never shut down for a single day. Because you know that several hospitals were closing down. There are members of staff were protesting. But the great men and women that are members of staff in this hospital, faced the challenges, braced up, faced it, and but we won together. Check the newspapers. most of the patients that we read about, that we read about in terms of COVID-19 that are of interest in the United States during the pandemic, is that okay? Were related to the Federal Teaching Hospital in APC. It shows our level of involvement. We exhausted our materials. Our men got exhausted physically, caring for our people. We developed hymns for ourselves that we sing to ourselves to encourage ourselves on the battle front. And I must say that only God can reward you. I've talked about local union, non-local union strike. Let me tell you that today we provide 90% of our energy needs in the hospital. That will shock you, but that is the truth. We generate 100% our water supply internally. That may also appear strange, but then the truth. As Winston Churchill once said, never let a good crisis go to waste. Never let a good crisis go to waste. We have used every challenge as a platform for reform. Every challenge as a platform for reform. What are the things that I would like to reflect on personally? And I'll make it very extremely short. Let me say that this office taught me many lessons. Many lessons. But the greatest of the lessons is this. There is deep fulfillment in serving faithfully. There is deep fulfillment in serving faithfully. And what I will miss most in this hospital, is the daily challenge of improving care and staff welfare. Over the last 8 years, I engage myself daily, and I know what I say. I engage myself daily on what else we need to do to improve care and staff welfare. That we stop as from January 1st. But then, what will I do? I will return to personal capacity building so I can continue to serve humanity in other capacities. In conclusion, I hand over a hospital now that is more stable, more productive, more disciplined nationally, and better prepared for the challenge than when I assumed office. I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful to the federal government. I'm grateful to the state government. I'm grateful to the board of management. I'm grateful to our staff and the people that we serve. The journey was challenging. The responsibility was heavy. But the service was profoundly rewarding. Leadership is not about power. It is about service. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Teaching Hospital.
My name is Sunday Samuel. representing pinpoint news. Pinpoint news. I have two questions to ask. My first question is, how would you like the administration to be remembered? That's the first question. The second question is, how has the hospital impact on the community improving during your administration?
So the second one.
How has the hospital impact on the community to improve during your administration?
Okay, that's the impact of the hospital on the community.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
My name is Abiola from the Leadership Newspaper, sir. I just want to know what would be your advice to be your successor to be in order to kind of build on your legacy.
Thank you, Mr. Abiola. My name is Deborah Kolabi. I work with Fresh FM. Yes, Fresh FM. My question is about the legacies that you leave now. How do you plan on sustaining so that towards the next administration of the CMD to make sure that you follow in line with the plans that you have already determined for the hospital? That's my question. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Abiola. Okay, one last one for now.
Thank you, CMD, and congratulations. It's been 8 very eventful years at this facility. My name is Adiola Ajoribebe, and I report for TBC News. I have two questions. My first question is, while you were serving as the CMD here, we had two presidents, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the late President Muhammadu Buhari. In the last 8 years, complaints of Nigeria has always been about the brain drain in the health sector. You said you have consistently maintained the workforce that we have here. In my opinion, sir, what suggestion do you have for the federal government to ensure that as a nation we are able to curb brain drain in our health sector? That's my first question, sir. And sir, my second question. In the Nigerian health sector, we often complain that the best medical facilities are available when we are outside this country. Medical tourism has generated more money for the United Kingdom, Saudi Arabia, India, and some other countries. And most of the times, Nigerian politicians are the ones who are doing this. Is this due to lack of capacity on the Nigerian health practitioner, or due to the abandonment of medical facilities by the government? I would like to answer these two questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Abiola. Now we'll pass the microphone to the Chief Medical Director to please take these questions from us.
I'll just try to respond to those inquiries, because I'd rather call them inquiries than questions, because this is not an exam. You know, I'm a teacher. So I want to respond to these inquiries in the order that they have been made, and to the best of my knowledge, or to the best of my ability. Treatment of patients. All that I've talked about, when I started, I said I have two clients as CMD. Number one client, two group of clients, staff, and number two, patients. And I've told the relationship between clients in group A and clients in Group B. Everything that we have done, have been geared towards improving the quality of service delivery to the parents, to the clients in the other room, which have got our patients. Now, I just cited only one example of a 22-weeker that came in, and that successfully treated and left, just because of the strategic decisions, strategic steps that we have taken to improve capacity, to improve equipment, to improve the work environment. And that one is just an example. I can't tell you that in the course of this administration, we established the neurosurgical unit, and the neurosurgeons, all the neurosurgeons, resident neurosurgeons in this state, for instance, that work in this state are members of staff of this hospital. I employed both of them. Is that okay? We established the platform for them to operate, and if you have any brain tumor after, and you don't need to go to if UCH again, you operate them. I talked about plastic surgery. All that we have done is not the hospital itself. Let me summarize that the hospital itself has been made hospitable for patients. The hospital itself, whether teaching hospital, has been made hospitable for patients. Exactly. And to make the hospital hospitable for the patients, we must first of all also make the hospital hospitable for the workforce. And that's the summary of it, rather than going into iterating and talking about one after the other. You've read about our weekly to me, everywhere. Is they do it, the only, I don't know, the ICU, the NICU of this hospital, has become a training facility for several NICU in the southwest. Only about a month ago, I hosted the leaders of NICU, even as far as Niger State, who came to this hospital to understudy our neonatal intensive care unit. So, sir, the patients are returned, and they have been returned in large numbers. We have received letters from them. Some complaints, the majority of the letters we have received from patients personally are made to commend the quality of service. You get to our world, you will see patients coming from Lagos, from Ibadan, from Abuja, is to come and receive care. We have one unique, I told you that part of what we wanted to do was to make the hospital affordable and accessible. Because of the affordability, a lot of the patients that have been driven by cost from Abuja, from Lagos, from other big cities, is that they find themselves in Edo, and we offer them the services without reducing or compromising quality. My day of exit, 31st of December 2025. I think that's straightforward. 31st of December.
Replacement, sir. Who's taking over?
The CMD of the hospital or any federal tertiary institutions in Nigeria enjoys his tenure as the player of the president. So my replacement is also currently as the player of the president, and we are waiting his announcements. Thank you. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
The others. You said, are there majors? Yes, a lot. I've told you that I'm not too sure there's any other teaching hospital, any other tertiary institution in this state that have a clinical research management office. We have. And it's a very beautiful office. It's not just beautiful in structure, it's beautiful in output. Exactly. Despite the fact that this hospital is not, as it were, associated with a conventional public-oriented institution, a lot of the staff of this hospital have been recognized and made professors by Afebabola University by consequent to their research output. Dr. Professor Jimoh is not attached to any public university as of today, but you'll be recognized by Harvard and announced as what? As a professor, but on account of the research outputs. So, and go on Google Scholar, you see Federal Teachers Institute in right now. It's okay. My next plan, I said it. My next plan is to return to personal capacity building. You know, when I don't want to, I've been involved in building capacity for that. I want to take time to further build my own capacity. Is that okay? You know, so that I can continue to impact positively humanity. That's my next plan. What to remember about my administration? That one village boy came. I say it. Kunle the village boy. My name is Kunle the village boy. That Kunle the village boy came, saw a need to improve the system, and he improved the system and left. He came, saw a need to improve the system, and he did just that and left. That's what I want to remember. And impact of the hospital on the community a lot. And you see what I read out in terms of infrastructure, in terms of building, all the blocks were bought from the community. Economic impact. A lot of our staff rent houses, but today houses in the a single room apartment is like about 250,000 naira per year, 300,000 per year. Perhaps on picture it's not more expensive than what to find in economic impact. You can talk about the taxes. Like I said sometimes ago, the taxes that members of staff of this hospital pay in terms of pay yield, income tax, is in excess of $1 billion per year to the state government. And there are also several other taxes. So I don't want to go again to that, but I can tell you that I was having a discussion with someone in the presence of my team members yesterday, and BEDC is okay. And the man, he said he's been winning awards because of the little that they give us that we pay them in time, economic impact. You can talk about job opportunity. I've told you about 1,400 in our nexus. Is that okay? Majority of the junior staff have been recruited from these environments. So, just spare me. Don't let me go on and on and on. Okay, I can. My advice to my successor: our people are not difficult to read. All that we need to do is to lead with integrity and openness. Be open. Lead with integrity. Like the Yoruba will say, one kò sí àwọn kan láwọ ẹwà. Àbí? Pick the beans. Àbí? Put salt, put pepper, put water, and before you know it, it becomes a delicious, a very sweet delicacy. Lead with what? Personal integrity. Do what you preach. If you want people to come early to work, come early to work. If you want people to do their work, do your own work. If you don't want people to steal money, you too don't steal. If you do not want people to waste the money, you don't what? Don't waste the money. Lead with what? Personal integrity and be open. sustain the legacy. Well, when I'm here, I have influence. The moment I leave, I do not have any influence again. But the question now is, what have I done to see that the legacy is sustained while I am here? What have I done? And I think what we have done, and the thing that I have told you, we have built institutions that should not revolve around individuals. We build institutions that revolve around processes and systems. And that is, for me, a major issue. If pharmacist is not around today, the DRF will run. Because the DRF that Drug Recovery Fund is not built around them. It's built around processes and what? System. If the director of admin is not around today, the system will run. Because the process is not built around that. It's built around processes and what? Systems. And on and on and on. We will complete the next application. We have to continue to improve, because system process and system that cannot improve is that we get compromised along the line and becoming efficient. The incoming administration will have to continue to improve on the processes. We have to continue to improve on the system, and we have to continue to introduce reforms that will cause improvements in quality of service delivery. And I think the system is sensitized strong well enough that if any CMD comes tomorrow and wants to misbehave, the system will tell him where the exit road is. Isn't it? The system will tell us where what the exit road is. And I don't think I'm sure that we have built a solid foundation. We can only continue to do what? To lay on this foundation that we have put in place. What advice we have about to mitigate brain drain in the health sector? Is that the question, sir? Yes. Brain drain has become hydrated and is not caused by a single factor. Is caused by multiple factors. There are so many things that are responsible. And when you see a social menace, what we consider social menace is that is entangled in multiple social factors. The approach to resolving it is also not unitary. It's not one way. We have to also be also multifaceted. So to mitigate brain drain, you will require multifaceted approach. Exactly. If you ask an average doctor, an average pharmacist on the road, he may tell you, increase my salary. Isn't it? But if you ask an average patient on the road, he will tell you, increase, improve work environments. It will be tell you, go and buy X-ray machine. If you meet a manager, exactly, manager will tell you, put put people in the system under bond or bond them so that they don't live as they like. Isn't it? Now, if you tell someone whose relation have been kidnapped in the past, he will tell you go and improve security. Hello? And if you tell you someone who is unfortunate to find his house in the place where there is no water and they have suffered so much water shortage, and because of that he's running out of the country, if the only thing you tell is if you can improve water supply where I live, I will stay back. So the approach to mitigating brain drain is what? is also multifaceted, and I think it's not just limited to what the Federal Ministry of Health will do. It's limited to every facet of our society to be involved. You know, every facet to be involved, because it's not a health system mandate, it's a social, has become a social mandate within the country, and we must deploy all the tools of managing social team mandates to manage brain drain. This may include improvements in the salary. This may include staff retention policies. You know, this may include improving security. It may include improving road access. It may include buying, like some people will say, giving them car loans and let them be able to buy cars. It may include improving quality of education, you know, that we have in the country, so that people can safely put their children in school without the fear of having strike and things and on. It may include so many things. And medical tourism. There's a lack of capacity of personnel or lack of facility. But we are compulted to also add the third one. You know, consumers' choice that may be completely out of lack of capacity or lack of facility, but my choice. She probably will go to UK next week or next month to go and celebrate her birthday. How does that mean that there are no good hotels in Nigeria to celebrate birthday? Isn't it? Consumer's choice. Is that not true? So that is also another thing that we probably could have added. Hello, sir.
I'm with you, sir.
This one can't block you. So we must also recognize first of all that we consume the healthcare services we consume. Exactly. So consumer's choice is also important. You know, AirPeace is here from Nigeria to London, but a lot of people will still prefer to take British. Yeah, exactly. Consumer's choice. So even if you make everywhere there are no, and it's the best, you can be a neighbor to the best church in the country and still not attend the church. Consumers what? Choice. Is that okay?
Yes.
And the most beautiful and well-mannered lady in your class may be pursuing you to marry and are not interested. Is that okay? And at the end of the day, it is a less beautiful and less elegant, less intelligent that you choose. What is that? Consumer's choice. So it is important to also note that the medical tourism, that's any form, medical service is not any form of service, is also heavily dependent on consumer choice. Exactly. There are people who, if they have not died in America, they are not dead yet. Exactly. Even if it is, yeah. So because it is more elegant to announce in the obituary that he died in King Soso's hospital in America, isn't it? Exactly. So when bread is about to be packaged and go to America, consumers' choice, and you cannot blame people for choosing what people are pregnant and they are rushing to America to go and deliver. Consumer choice. Maybe they want their children to become citizens, not because there are no facilities in Nigeria to take delivery. So that in itself is important. Then now go to your limited options, which is lack of capacity of health. I think the capacity is there. Nigerian doctors, Nigerian health workers have part of the most trained people, in the health system landscape all over the world. And you can see them demonstrating a lot of skills when they go outside the country. So I won't say that the problem is lack of capacity. Yes, even though people tend to demonize the health workers in Nigeria as people who do not know. We know, and I know they know. Even those who demonize them, when they go outside this country, do not see any other. Majority of them will go to this outside this country to see Nigerians who are not just health workers in outside the country, but trained in the same environment that we train in this country. So it's not about lack of capacity. Is lack of facility there? Yes. And we admit. Are we making progress in improving facilities in our health sectors, in our hospitals in Nigeria? I will also say yes. It's okay. We have made significant progress. There have been unimaginable level of investment into the health system in over the last few years. All the things that I read out as performance in this achievements in this hospital were not done by my money. And of course, I do not have, my father is he would not have, and he died as a retiree dispenser. So he could not have left behind for me the Mogos words to be able to accomplish the feats. Exactly. Most of the things that we have done have been responsible utilization of government funds. So we must give credit to government that have committed itself to understanding that there is infrastructural gap in our health sector, in our health system, and committed themselves to ensuring that there is improvement in this, that will bridge this gap significantly for the benefits of our people. And we must recognize it, we must appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Very vast, very wise, very knowledgeable. I believe our president will agree with me. Thank you very much. In my opinion, I believe the chief medical director is also being modest. He doesn't want to say and blow his trumpet so much, but I believe all these milestones are evident for all to see. Please let's give our chief medical director a round of applause. Thank you, everyone. And now we'd like to take the closing remarks. Okay. Any other question? Okay. All right. I'm glad you are. So to take us on that is the CMAC and Chairman CMD's valedictory events committee, Dr. Irioma Olagoki.
Director of Admin, the head of the Department of Accounts, all heads of department, directors, deputy directors, and our staff, as well as men and ladies of the press. We want to welcome you once again to the Federal Teaching Hospital in Ekiti. We want to thank every one of you for making it to this day to be part of this celebration of Chief Medical Director, who, from all that has been briefly said today, you will see that it's a journey of 8 years that has been crammed into less than 1 hour. You will know that it is far more than that. We give thanks to God for the great things that He has been able to achieve through Him, and that is evident for all to see. We thank you all for coming. We just want to let you know that this event, of course, the press has been invited to all stages of the event, marking the exit of our Chief Medical Director. This is the first event of a series of events that are going to happen. We want to join members of staff as well as members of the press to please keep up prompt attendance, and at God's grace we will all have a successful celebration. We wish you all the very best as you join us for the rest of the celebration. Thank you very much, sirs.
Thank you very much, sir. We would like to say this is the end of today's event, and I'd like to name the media chat. Thank you once again to our president. Thank you to the top management committee team, distinguished heads of departments, units, members of staff. Do enjoy the rest of your day, and God bless you.
lifter of my head. Oh Lord, oh, thou art my shield, my glory, and the lifter of my head.